Coming up on The Cut.
E10 breaks a 56-year-long record.
Controversy arises as Trump orders for UFO data to be released.
And the final season of Euphoria is set to premiere this Sunday.
All this and more coming up on The Cut.
The Cut starts now.
Hello and welcome to The Cut Network. I'm Nicola Hendro.
And I'm Dan Nichbrook.
Over the weekend, President Donald Trump made expletive-filled threats against Iran if the country did not open the Strait of Hormuz by Tuesday. As of Tuesday night, Trump pulled back on his threats as the U.S. and Iran agreed to a 2-week ceasefire that includes reopening the strait. According to the Associated Press, Iran also struck infrastructure in neighboring countries and threatened to restrict the Bab el-Mandab Strait, another waterway off the Arabian Peninsula. On Sunday, Trump said on social media that he would hit Iran's power plants and bridges. He followed up these threats with more on Tuesday, saying that a, quote, whole civilization will die tonight if the deadline to open the Strait of Hormuz wasn't reached. The president has placed deadlines on Iran before, but extended them when mediators have said they've made moves toward ending the war. Iranian Culture Minister Saeed Reza Salehi Amiri said that Trump often shifts between contradictory positions. Quote, it seems Trump has become a phenomenon that neither Iranians nor Americans are able to fully analyze. Both the U.S. and Iran have threatened and hit civilian infrastructure. Iran's UN mission described Trump's recent threats as, quote, clear evidence of intent to commit a war crime. Iran's Joint Military Command also warned of larger attacks on civilian infrastructure if the U.S. and Israel strike the same targets there. Legal scholars say armed conflict laws allow attacks on civilian infrastructure only if the military advantage outweighs the civilian harm.
For the first time in more than 50 years, humans have flown around the moon, and they also managed to break a record doing that. NASA's Artemis II crew completed a historic 7-hour lunar flyby on Monday, marking humanity's first return to the vicinity of the moon since Apollo 17 in 1972. The 4-person crew, NASA astronauts Reid Wiseman, Victor Glover, and Christina Koch, along with Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jeremy Hansen, set a new record for the furthest distance any human has ever traveled from Earth, reaching more than 252,000 miles into space. That surpasses the previous record set by Apollo 13 in 1970. At their closest point, the Orion spacecraft passed just over 4,000 miles above the lunar surface, giving the crew unprecedented views of the moon's far side, areas no human has ever seen with their own eyes. Astronaut Christina Koch also made history as the first woman ever to complete a lunar flyby. The crew is now headed home and is expected to splash down in the Pacific Ocean off San Diego on Friday. The Artemis program ultimate goal is to return astronauts to the lunar surface and eventually send humans to Mars.
Many countries are struggling to generate funding for the 2026 World Cup. Cut reporter Tatum Dutton-Lewis has the details. Tatum?
The FIFA World Cup is only months away, and many cities are struggling with funding, leading to potential cancellations. In July 2025, lawmakers promised World Cup host cities $625 million in federal funding. It was meant to help cities with security costs due to the millions of fans visiting this summer. There are 11 host cities in the United States, including Houston, Dallas, New York, New Jersey, and many other major cities across the country. The funding delays are due to the partial government shutdown. FEMA was the agency responsible for the $625 million in funding, but they are ran by the Department of Homeland Security. Congress has been in a stalemate over the government funding, primarily regarding DHS and the agencies they sponsor. Many cities are considering canceling their fan festivals entirely. One of these cities is New York and New Jersey. MetLife Stadium is hosting 8 matches, including the final. On April 6th, New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani signed an emergency order that blocked events happening in the city as a request from the New York Police Department. New Jersey canceled the festival set to be at Liberty State Park, rather opting for small festivities. New Jersey Representative Nellie Poe said, quote, "This is completely unacceptable this close to kickoff. If DHS is going to play a role in the tournament, then DHS needs to be transparent, coordinated, and timely. The World Cup is a global stage. We need to act like we are ready for it. We're running out of time, end quote. The city of Foxborough even threatened to pull out of the game entirely, happening at Gillette Stadium if they could not receive funding. But this was resolved by the Kraft Group that agreed to backstop them on their funding. As of today, none of the games have been canceled and none of the venues have pulled out of their hosting responsibilities. The FIFA World Cup begins June 11th in Mexico City and concludes July 19th in MetLife Stadium. For the Cut Network, I'm Tatum Doan-Lewis.
Thank you, Tatum. I hope that these cities are able to overcome these difficulties. If you believe in aliens, do you ever wonder what they would think about us on Earth? According to the Associated Press, this question and many others are on the minds of American scientists right now. This renewed interest in extraterrestrial life was sparked in February when former President Barack Obama said on a podcast that aliens are, quote, real, but he, quote, hasn't seen them and they're not being kept at Area 51. Then President Trump announced on social media that he was directing release of government files because of, quote, tremendous interest. This also all comes as the U.S. heads back to the moon with the launch of NASA's Artemis II mission last Wednesday. But rather than ask what alien life from another planet would be like, some scientists are wondering the opposite. What would they think of us? University of Michigan astronomy professor Edwin Bergen says if intelligent beings traveled to Earth, they would make themselves known. Quote, I would think that they would look at us like we're crazy, but they would come out, he said. Whatever theories may exist, many Americans believe there is intelligent life out there. A 2021 Pew Research survey reported that about 2/3 of Americans said that their best guess is that intelligent life exists on other planets. In 2024, the Pentagon released hundreds of reports of unidentified aerial phenomena, but the review gave no evidence of alien life.
Your favorite Swedish furniture store is setting up shop in the Valley. Cut reporter Charlotte Rees has what's to come. Charlotte?
Thanks, Nicole. IKEA just opened a brand new store in the Valley, but it's a little different than you think. Located on Cactus Road and Tatum Boulevard in North Phoenix, the new store is 75,000 square feet and offers a one-level, small format style. Inside the new store, rooms are inspired by local styles from the state, along with 3,000 items up for immediate sale. The other 1,000 items in the showroom will be available for delivery or pickup. Another unique part of the store, there will be an as-is section full of discounted, gently used, and retired showroom items for sale. While maybe a quarter of the size as Tempe's store, the concept is part of IKEA's $2.2 billion U.S. expansion plan to open smaller stores in an effort to reach more areas across the country. The new store opened on Wednesday, and their daily hours are 10:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. Now, I know many college students like myself will be happy for some discounted furniture and Swedish meatballs. For the Cut Network, I'm Charlotte Rees. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Charlotte. I'm definitely going to need to check it out. A Sunday afternoon crash involving the Valley Metro light rail has caused delays for riders in Phoenix. Phoenix police responded around 1 p.m. to a scene near 20th and Jefferson Streets where a vehicle collided with a light rail train. Officers arriving on the scene found the driver of the vehicle, the light rail operator, and passengers. Information on injuries was not immediately released. A photographer on scene spotted a red SUV on the tracks with significant front-end damage. Details on what led up to the crash were not immediately known. Valley Metro said A-line trains were running up to 20 minutes late as a result of the incident. Riders were encouraged to check the Valley Metro app for updated arrival times.
Grammy-winning songwriter and vocalist Olivia Rodrigo breaks the internet by announcing her new album. Cut reporter Ileana James has the story. Ileana?
Thank you, Nicole. Olivia Rodrigo announced her new album, You Seem Pretty Sad for a Girl So in Love, on social media platforms last week. It'll be released on streaming services June 12th. Her first single from the album, Drop Dead, will be released on April 17th. The album cover is Rodrigo swinging upside down with a background of a gray-blue color. She's wearing a pink dress with black boots that fits perfectly into her pop-punk princess aesthetic. Fans have been speculating a new album from Rodrigo for months after she finished the Guts World Tour. She posted reels around several cities including New York, Los Angeles, Paris, and London. She was seen placing pink lockets with her logo on it. After months of teasing and her website changing from purple to pink, Fans are excited for the big news, and so is Rodrigo. Quote, "I am so proud of this record and I can't wait for you to hear it." The Target exclusive vinyls are available for pre-order. Rodrigo has 2 limited edition pressings, which allows fans to listen prior to release day. For the Cut Network, I'm Ileana James.
Thank you, Ileana. I look forward to hearing what she has in store. Now further into entertainment with Cut anchor Trinity Tran. Trinity?
This week, entertainment is hitting every stage, from the box office to streaming, and soon to the desert. In theaters, films like Project Hail Mary and The Drama are emerging as early standouts, each generating strong industry buzz. But one movie release has already leveled up past the competition. The Super Mario Galaxy movie has become the biggest box office opener of 2026 so far, launching with approximately $131.7 million domestically and $372.5 million globally, according to People magazine. Its success follows the recent wave of hit video game adaptations, showing that familiar characters and strong fan bases are still drawing audiences back to the big screen. And this momentum isn't just happening in theaters. Streaming platforms are just as busy, with several new premieres arriving this month. New series like Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord expand major franchise universes, while Malcolm in the Middle, Life's Still Unfair brings a classic sitcom back for a new generation. But the most anticipated return is Euphoria, back with Season 3 on Sunday, April 12th on HBO Max, marking more than 4 years since Season 2 was released in January 2022. Euphoria will also be getting a special late-night screening at Coachella, where HBO Max will premiere the first episode during Weekend 1 after the final performance, making it the first television series to screen at the festival, according to The Hollywood Reporter. That crossover comes just as Coachella Weekend 1 gets underway. The festival is once again expected to draw a lot of attention, while the lineup features some of the biggest names in music, such as Pink Pantheress, The Strokes, Sabrina Carpenter, and many more. One artist in particular is generating major attention, Justin Bieber. He is set to headline both Saturdays of the festival after personal and health challenges. This performance could mark a major turning point, with a lot riding on his return, according to Page 6. And at Coachella, those comeback moments are often the ones people remember the most. As the week continues, the entertainment world is one to keep note of. For the Cut Network, I'm Trinity Tran.
Thank you, Trinity. Not only does entertainment have a lot going on, but sports as well. Cut anchor Camila Cachon has the updates. Camila?
Thank you, Nicole, and welcome back to Sports in the Cut. March Madness has officially come to a close, and what a finish it was. On the men's side, Michigan celebrated after a hard-fought win against UConn. This is the program's first men's basketball title since 1989 after winning 69-63. Throughout the game, the Wolverines outscored the Huskies in the paint 36-22. Michigan's Elliot Cadeau received the award for the Final Four's Most Outstanding Player, who finished with a game-high 19 points. For the women's tournament, the UCLA Bruins secured their first women's title in program history, beating South Carolina 51-79. The Bruins had already outscored the Gamecocks by 16 points in the third quarter. This is the largest scoring margin of any quarter in the history of a women's title game. Projected number 1 draft pick Lauren Betts received a standing ovation from the crowd after being awarded the Women's Final Four Most Valuable Player. Star player Gabriela Jaquez exited the game as just the 5th female to have at least 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists in a national championship game. Moving away from basketball, it's April now, and we are officially 2 weeks into the baseball season. This year, Major League Baseball is making history with it being the first season of integrating the ABS, or the Automated Ball Strike System. With this system, teams have the ability to challenge pitches in real time, with players simply tapping their head to signal to the umpire, and the pitch is replayed on the Jumbotron to confirm or overturn it. MLB spent years testing the system before making its debut to the big leagues, and let's just say after these first few series, it's meeting the standards of both players and fans. This new aspect of the game has fans on the edge of their seat waiting to see the result, with many cheers or cries coming in response. This is adding a new strategy to the game, as teams only have 2 wrong challenges per game. Even though our winter season are coming to an end, the world of sports is constantly moving, with different storylines to follow each week. That's all for Sports on the Cut. Stay tuned for next week. For the Cut Network, I'm Camila Chacon.
Thank you, Camila. There sure is a lot to follow in sports this season. If you're fooled by jokes last week on April Fool's Day, you're not the only one. According to the Associated Press, rumors of the death of the world's oldest known tortoise fooled many people online. The 193-year-old tortoise called Jonathan is still alive, but news of his death spread quickly on social media last week. An account on X falsely claiming to be created by Joe Hollins, a veterinarian who had worked with the tortoise, announced Jonathan's death. The post said he was heartbroken to share the news about the death of the, quote, gentle giant that, quote, outlived empires, wars, and generations of humans. By Thursday, the post received nearly 2 million views, with many users sharing their condolences. But Hollins later shared on Facebook that he didn't even have an X account, and the false post was actually a bigger trick. Quote, there is a hoax, not even an April Fool going around. The hoaxer is asking for crypto donations. It's a con. The tortoise is still living in St. Helena, an island in the South Atlantic Ocean between Africa and Brazil. He's currently named the oldest living land animal and the oldest tortoise ever by Guinness World Records. Jonathan was believed to be about 50 years old when he was brought to St. Helena in 1882. The St. Helena government also sent a photo of Jonathan that was taken on Thursday of him strolling around the governor's home on the island. So Deanna, what do you think? Would you want to live for 193 years?
Oh, absolutely. Can you imagine all the hair colors you can try out and not regret a thing?
Oh, that's cool. I didn't think about that. Thank you so much for joining us.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at @thecut_network.
For the Cut Network, I'm Nicola Hendro.
And I'm Deanna Chibrook. Have a nice day.